I'm live. Am I? I'm looking at the camera. I have my new camera out for this live stream, and I'm hoping all the technical problems that it could have aren't there. That this is working perfectly. So I'm gonna wait a few minutes. Those of you watching this live stream, hours, days afterwards, just fast forward a little bit because I'm gonna wait till people show up here and let me know whether everything's working or not. As you can see, I'm not on my webcam. I'm on my better, the camera that I use. Still waiting. YouTube, people coming? Maybe. All right. So I'm going to live stream this. I'm going to say, welcome. This is the Learning About Movies channel. Professor Matthews, September 2022 recommendations. I'm going to look at Criterion. Hello in the chat. I'm going to look at a bunch of recommendations. We're going to play a game. The interactive game. If you're here, you can play with me. It's kind of goofy, but fun. I think it's about movie recommendations. So any of you in the chat right now, feel free to ask questions. Do you see me right? And are you hearing me correctly? Am I having any trouble? Because again, I'm using my camera, my good one, for the first time. And I'm hoping the battery doesn't conk out of it, or I don't know how long the battery lasts. Also, my laptop is ancient, so I hope this all works. Let me know if it's working or not. It's funny it says there's no viewers, but yet there are people down there in the chat room. Very clear and defined image. Awesome. And you can hear me. Awesome. Thank you, Paula. Appreciate it. Again, if anybody has questions, well, I'll answer them later in this live stream, which is always fun. We're going to look at recommendations, though. I'm going to go straight to it. In fact, first, as I always do, if you're not following me on Letterboxd, go ahead and do that. I'll take a look at your stuff, too. This has been mildly successful. I've got, almost 1,500 people here. 1,500 followers. I'm just recording what I watch and giving ad hoc reviews. So I'm actually going through. Let me bring it up. I just started this. Of course, it's only 4 movies, and I've seen all of these many times. I just thought I would. It's what interested me. I'm teaching a science fiction class. I'm going through that. You can see I've kind of written up a few things about Mad Max 2, but I'm really interested in George Miller's direction. I think his action movie direction. Like, it's actually blowing my mind at the moment because it's George Lucas-like, but on acid or steroids or something like that. Plus, he's a great silent movie director. And I haven't seen him like I've seen him now, so I'm really appreciating the first 2 Mad Max movies, just for the action sequences and how he does them, shot by shot by shot, and the sound and so on. I've got a nice little. I'm looking at it. Nice little. I can't see that. Yeah, I wear sunglasses all the time outside, so I've got a nice little tan mark there. I don't care, though. If I cared about beauty, I would look completely different. Okay, so what I want to get to are recommendations. Let me check, make sure. Looks like everything's great. Wonderful. Yes, awesome, wonderful. Okay, so let's get right to this. I always go through Criterion Channel's what's leaving, because that helps me personally narrow down what I might watch this month. There are a million movies you could watch, of course, and this is a way. Look at what's leaving your streaming service, and then you may not have access to it because you're a subscriber to it only. And if it's leaving your streaming service, okay, go ahead and watch it. So that's what I do. Now, if you don't have Criterion Channel, that's perfectly fine. You're still getting my recommendations here, and others in the chat will chime in with great stuff because there's great viewers here who know a lot about movies. But I would suggest Criterion even if you're outside the country, get a VPN because it is still the best streaming service in my opinion. The variety is there from all kinds of genres, movie history, regular movies, Hollywood movies for cinephiles, art students, film students, and the list goes on. And you can see right there, Raging Bull. That's a classic Hollywood movie that's high up on every list, including IMDb.com. But it's on the Criterion Channel, and they have things come and go. So I'm going to look at that in a second. What I want to look at is this is the new release page. New movies coming out. This is the page I use for showing. By the way, I don't get paid by anybody, not yet. Anyone wants to sponsor me, let me know, and I'll think about it. But this is the new release schedule, and I have to say, though my own comment about this looks absolutely awful. I can't believe I don't see anything I'm really excited about. In fact, this month coming out in theaters and on streaming services. They're actually just re-releasing stuff. You can see here Spider-Man No Way Home, that was wildly successful last December. The More Fun Stuff version, is that actually the name of it? You know, they're re-releasing that, and they're re-releasing Avatar right there. I guess in prep for Avatar 2, which comes out in a few months. But are you interested in anything here? I really have to look at the whole list. I haven't studied everything. But nothing really struck me as, wow, that's remarkable. Everyone's a little worried about the new Pinocchio because they sent it straight to the streaming service and it didn't go to theaters. Now, Pinocchio is an amazing novel. Not really a kid's book, but kind of. And everyone knows the classic Disney animated movie from 1940? I'm trying to remember, but that one. Now they've remade it umpteen 1,000 times, and this is a new one. It's animated. Is this any good? I don't know. Oh yeah, they're re-releasing Jaws, right? So re-releases instead of new stuff. I'm wondering if COVID lockdowns and COVID is finally hitting, and there's like no movies to release for a few months. No good ones at least. But there is a lot of movies. It could be the worst movie month ever if you look at this. Or there may be 3 or 4 gems that I just don't know about and we'll find out about later. Anyway, go back to this. Here we go. Recommendations. Thank you for watching. So, of course, Raging Bull. What else can I say? I actually have a video about that on my channel. All right, so there it is. I have 3 or 4. Now, I have not seen all of these. This would be crazy if anybody had seen every movie on here. And so I have questions about them. I'm going to give a tentative recommendation to this Paul Schrader movie, a director I really like, who wrote did he write Raging Bull? Now I'm blanking. He wrote Taxi Driver. So he works with Martin Scorsese. His first film he ever made as a director, Blue Collar, which he wrote. I like this movie about the auto industry. It combines 3 actors who, nice blend, Harvey Keitel, Yaphet Kotto, and Richard Pryor. I recommended this last month, but it's actually still in my mind. It has a really good ending. If not maybe a little bit of a ludicrous plot and some stereotypical characters. I won't say it's perfect, but I really like this movie, at least on reflection, and it has class concerns which have all but disappeared in at least my perusal of American discourse. Who talks about the poor, the working class, the factory workers? It's all about race and gender, or a lot of it is. So I like this movie a lot when I saw it. I've only seen it once. So tentative sort of recommendation there. I'm going to go all the way down and skip a couple of these that I have seen and might comment on. I love this Western, Destiny Rise Again. It's just fun. Jimmy Stewart, Marlene Dietrich. You can see Marlene in the picture there. This is one of the Westerns I esteem highly. I'm going to release a Best Westerns video, actually a couple of them in a couple months. And this one's pretty high up there. It's just fun and wildly entertaining. I like the premise. Jimmy Stewart plays I think an ex-gunslinger who is appointed sheriff of a town, but he's going to be a sheriff without a gun. And it's a rootin' tootin' town with lots of guns. I think the opening scene is people shooting guns all over the place. So how can you be a sheriff of a town when you don't have a gun and everybody else has a gun? I mean, that's one of the premises in the movie. Very fun movie. I do recommend that to everybody. I watched that with my kids. It is good for kids. Well, at least my kids, who are a little weird because they're like me, watched the movie. They liked it. My 8-year-old liked it. He liked that a lot. So here's another very strong recommendation. A religious movie, but you don't have to be religious to appreciate it. This Corpus Christi. I believe this is Polish. I saw this last year. Really good. I think Jan Komasa. I don't think I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's about a guy who gets out of jail. Is he a Catholic convert in jail or a wannabe? I forget. But he becomes a priest, but he's not a priest. In a small town, he's actually a fraud. Which I love stories about frauds, even bad ones. And this guy pretends to be a priest and kind of grows into the role of priest. And it's a really good movie. I like the movie. I think the ending is really potent. And so I would recommend it if you probably haven't heard of it, but it's from 3 or 4 years ago. And it's leaving the channel here, which that means I don't know if you're going to find this anywhere else. So I have a little write-up of it on Letterboxd. And I really like the premise of this movie. I thought it ended well, as I said. So no, that's another one. think that's 4 recommendations. I'm trying to remember how many. And by the way, any of you are watching this live, or even if you're watching this after the fact, comment here, because I may have skipped something that's really good that I'm not pointing out, or you know and I don't. Right? Love this movie. Last year at Marienbad, I wrote something on it. It's not for everybody. It is a strange movie, to say the least. The timeline in it is bizarre. You have to think and pay attention, but it is absorbing and hypnotic. Both the sound in it is fantastic, and the visuals. I can't really describe the movie except to say it's kind of just basically it's like the most complicated artistic love triangle movie ever, or one of them. I shouldn't say ever, but really profound work of art for some people. If you're watching it as a casual viewing on Friday night because you're just getting over chilling out, you're trying to chill out, and you've had a hard work week, this probably wouldn't be the one. But if you want to kind of be absorbed by a movie, even those of you who are young, try this out and see if you like it. Look at my write-up. Hey, it's only 90 minutes. I watched it on a giant screen. It was fantastic on a giant screen. That may help it out quite a bit. I forget what awards this won when it came out, 1961, right about the time of the French New Wave, and you'll feel that sort of earlier New Wave in there. So those were 4 movies. Those are enough for most people. I am interested in a lot of things I'm scrolling down and seeing as I look at them I have not seen. Let me go back up and say what I have seen and what I would think about it. Walker, the movie called Walker, I think I just skipped it, is a Western, not quite. I'm missing it. I don't know what to say about it, though, because there it is. Alex Cox, who made Repo Man, which I really love Repo Man, the science fiction movie he made a few years before this. What was the punk rock movie he made? Now I'm blank. Sid and Nancy. Right, his other one. This one is about 19th century American, based on his William Walker, a 19th century American who goes into Central America and tries to revolutionize and take over the country. But this one is like mixing time periods and has very weird performance by Ed Harris, who sort of plays a straightforward, idealistic colonialist, William Walker, an American who goes into a South American country and everything is completely different from him. It's like Ed Harris doesn't fit into the movie, but there's concepts there they're trying to get across. I did not like this movie very much, but it's in the Criterion collection and a lot of people do, and I like Alex Cox, so I might have just miswatched this movie. So I might try it again. This is my time period in graduate school. I know this stuff really well. A lot of literature and history about this stuff. 19th century America, colonialism, and so on. So maybe that's biasing me or not, but I might recommend that to people who want something experimental. You see anything else on here you like? Let us know in the comments. 5 or 6 movies is enough for most people. I think, right? I think most people are satisfied with that. I was going to do also what's leaving Netflix. I know many people don't subscribe to it. But this too could be helpful even if you don't. I have subscribed and canceled my subscription probably 6 or 7 times to Netflix. Right? Partly because I do review some of their new releases if I am intrigued by them. But what's leaving? I wanted to do this because what's leaving Netflix at the end of this month, Nightcrawler. I haven't mentioned this on this channel in a long time. It's one of my favorite movies from the last 6 or 7 years. I have a gigantic essay on it on my website. Jake Gyllenhaal plays kind of a psychopath who gets into the TV news industry, I think in Los Angeles. And it's an entrepreneurial American dream success story combined with a psychopath story. But, I won't say anything more than that. Riz Ahmed, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, is in this. Very good actor, Sound of Metal. I strongly recommend this movie. I do have a video on it on my channel. The Blade Runners are leaving the channel, just in case you wanted to know that. which I do have a video on this Blade Runner. I released it several months ago. What I love about this movie. I don't love everything. It's kind of iffy, so on 2049, but it does have its merits. One of my favorite Spielberg movies. I should rewatch this. Catch Me If You Can. DiCaprio and Hanks is in that. So, there's some things. There's Taxi Driver, if you want to compliment Raging Bull. And you see anything else there, let us know. There's some things there I thought, maybe worth highlighting, but Full Metal Jacket. I don't know. Is Netflix's selection, has it shrunk? I know their own produced stuff is expanding all the time. Netflix originals, but I think it's getting more expensive for them, or they're not holding some of these classic older movies unless they're not a curator of movie history. Not at all, not even close, like Criterion is. And that's partly why I recommend Criterion. They are kind of sort of the only streaming service, one of the only ones that curate movie history. So there. I hope you're all doing well. Let me just check everything out, make sure it's... Yeah, okay, so we got some comments there. That's good. Hey, how about we play a game? You want to play a game? Let me try this out. Because when I got on this today and looked at what's leaving Criterion, they didn't have the list up. So I thought, oh, great, what am I going to do for the live stream? And I was trying to invent something that I thought would be helpful and interesting. So let's try this out. Let me go back to the browser here. So I found this site, and I'm sure there's 10 of them, 20 somewhere. Random Movie Picker. And people like the videos I just released in the last month. Like, it was my own scenario. Pick one movie by a great director, the one movie you like or you think is their masterpiece. I've made 2 of those videos, or released 2 of those videos. There's a third coming, I think, this month. So be on the watch out for that. But this idea of picking one movie out of a group, people in the comments were very happy. Those videos did pretty well on the channel. So I thought, okay, let's try this out. So let's randomly randomize movies. Let's see if I can get this a little smaller so that I can get all the movies on the screen. Let's randomly select movies. Let this pick random movies. And what do we want to do? I thought maybe I'd just do since it's in the United States as of now, the retro 80s thing. Oh my gosh, it's not ending either. And all kinds of 80s hairstyles are coming back. Mullets. So the randomization of 80s movies. You may not like 80s movies, but the question is, what one? Here's the game. You could do a lot of things with this. The game is pick one, save one, eliminate all the rest. So if you can just pick one from this list, which one would you pick to watch? That's one kind of game. Which one would you pick to save? And then we just delete from history all the rest. So I was thinking about that. Most movies are not great, and most of them will disappear into the dustbin of history. So, okay, that's going to happen. Movies are going to be deleted, just not in a way by somebody who's controlling things. Look at this series. I don't know if you've seen these, but I picked the 80s because I know the 80s pretty well. I grew up in the 80s. I was a little kid. Which one of these would you save? So I'm looking at this going, okay, the bro selection, which I love bros. Not in that way, but in just a general congenial way. Would be Die Hard. Although First Blood is, wait a minute, is First Blood the first Rambo movie? It has to be, right? I was thinking that's Rambo 2. I'm going to get Amazon. Yeah, is that the first Rambo or the second Rambo? Sorry, you're probably getting my information here. I don't remember. I thought First Blood was the one where he walks into a Pennsylvania or Oregon town, whatever the heck it is, and he's in the United States, where then the other Rambo... Anyway, whatever. I think the bros would pick Die Hard, that's fine. The cinephiles, what would they pick? Blood Simple, probably, by the Coens. The first Coen Brothers movie is right there. Film noir. I've never really loved that one, and I've said that on this channel. People know I love Body Double. I won't say anything more about that, but I have a video on that. I don't know. Moonstruck, I love that script. I think the movie is pretty good too, and I want to do a video on it. Ugh, I don't know what I would save. I'd probably pick Moonstruck, quite honestly. That's just me right now saying that, though. In other scenarios, it'd be Die Hard, but whatever. Or Body Double. Do I know these? I know all these other ones, and I'm not wildly enthusiastic. Although they're here talking about George Miller. This is a George Miller movie, The Witches of Eastwick. Very strange that he made the Mad Max movies and then jumped to this. I think this was his second Hollywood movie, George Miller. What is The Stuff? Is that, like, let's take a look at that just for kicks, because that one's one I've not heard of. The Stuff. It looks creepy. Larry Cohen. All right, I'm going to have to watch this. I've never even heard of it. I know Larry Cohen, like a schlock B movie director, but he's made a couple movies I actually kind of appreciate. Americans start acting strangely after eating an alien ice cream. What kind of premise is that? Is this what's going to happen to you when you eat the stuff? I wonder what this is really about. It's about eating processed food, and I don't know. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's do it a couple more times. Whatever. You can see that this might be a way to actually pick movies or to find something as strange and as random as it is. All right, so movies between. Let's do the 90s. Randomize the 90s, which I know really well because I was a high school and college student then. So it's like I've probably seen all of these. Oh, pick one and delete the rest. The Godfather Part 3? Oh, okay. Oh, man. People don't like that. I like that better than you, probably. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was okay. It's overhyped as being terrible. I don't think so. I might pick The Straight Story. Okay, I just noticed Fargo there. And Kubrick's last movie, Eyes Wide Shut. American Beauty is one that I still read criticism and people reference American Beauty and they assume that everybody has seen it. It seems to be a go-to movie still, even 23 or so years after the fact. Does it deserve that? But I think it's in part of the critical canon. I mean, like film studies and then modern movie critics professionally working. Everyone seems to be able to refer to this film and know it really well, and they assume you know it. Even maybe more so than Fargo. I'm not sure about that. I actually like Star Trek First Contact. It's okay. Fifth Element's kind of fun. So I'm kind of liking this selection mostly, but personally I like The Straight Story a lot. That's a weird David Lynch movie because it's G-rated. Disney produced it or released it, funded it, and it's about a guy, an old guy. There aren't a ton of movies about old people, even there's a lot of older people in the world. A guy he's older, he's driving a tractor or a lawnmower, I think, across the state of Iowa to go see his brother. It's his only means by which to get to his brother, who I think is dying, based on a true story, and it's David Lynch. I'm going to have to rewatch that and do it for the channel. I'm probably speaking heresy, though, because everyone's probably screaming at me right now to pick Fargo. That's a tough one. But a lot of these movies are well regarded. The English Patient wasn't. It came out. I think My Own Private Idaho might be in Criterion. So this isn't the whole bad 16 group of movies. I think it's not awesome, but it's not bad. Okay, one more. Let's do all years. Oh, this random generator must have movies that a lot of people know, except for that Stuff movie, and then throw them at you because I see things that will be well known. This is not like all of movie history, and it's just randomly selecting from a million movies. It must sort of weight things towards movies that people know. I'm going to assume. I have not heard of 9 Songs, so that would throw that one out. Once Upon a Time in America, 4-hour adventure there. I would probably pick The Godfather, right? You have to do that. Although, how can I leave out Groundhog Day? So, maybe this is a tough. There's a Hitchcock movie down there too, which is very fun. So To Catch a Thief. Jeez. Yeah, I guess you have to pick The Godfather. How could you not? That would be like 98% of people out of this group would pick The Godfather. So I could be weird and pick Groundhog Day. But who's going to trash or throw away or delete a Leone movie in his last one? A lot of people love this movie, and it's and All Quiet on the Western Front. There's a very classic World War I movie. Oh, okay. So maybe this exercise is too tough. Right? I'm copping out. That's why you can accuse me of that. For my own personal life, I would pick Groundhog Day. Which is a movie that I would say transformed me. When I saw it in the theaters, it was kind of the first movie that ever made me think about stuff. It's like a movie that generated thoughts. Or the first movie I can remember doing that to me. Of course, if you don't know the scenario to Groundhog Day, it's just a guy relives the same day over and over again, and he's trapped and he doesn't know how to get out. So the question is, what is life? Why live? What's the point of a day in a life? All these kind of general existential questions. Well, I think, it's a, Harold Ramis comedy. It's a pretty profound movie. So I would say that one means a lot to me, personally. If I were going to save something for all mankind, or all humankind, from here on to the end of eternity, though, I'd probably have to pick The Godfather. So there's two different ways to look at this game I'm playing with you. All right. That's a lot of stuff. So I threw out a lot of stuff. It was kind of fun. Maybe I'll do this next time. I don't know. Let me take a look at the comments. We've been streaming here for a little while. Oh, good. We got a lot of people here. That's great. So if you're watching this and after the fact, here's where I look at the comments section. You can look at it too. There's always very smart people and regulars who show up here. And by the way, we're all around the world here. People greet us from Norway, from Eastern Europe, from India, from you name it. So let's look at this. If you use a VPN, Netflix isn't bad. What do you mean by that? So wouldn't you just be subscribing to Netflix anyway? I don't know. Is there a difference between? It shouldn't be, right? Mubi in Ireland. Yeah, I need to check out Mubi, M-U-B-I, as a streaming service. Some are popping up and people are using them that I'm not aware of. See How They Run is the movie Rufus Studios looking forward to in September. Okay, I will go look at that. I was looking for movies to do new release videos on, and I wasn't sure what I would even be able to do or want to do for September. I really love to review new movies. It's fun, no matter how little I get paid on YouTube. But I really love it. But I wasn't sure what in the world. Actually, last night I had the opportunity, and I couldn't take it because I had to do child care for my own children. But I could have gone and seen the first 2 Lord of the Rings Amazon series episodes. That. Of course you would know this if you're on Amazon Prime. My goodness, they're advertising this like crazy. There's even the threat, supposedly, that Amazon Studios might fold if this Lord of the Rings does not succeed. I read that this morning. Wow, they really went all in on Lord of the Rings. Rings of Power is what it's called. I'm not advertising it here, but I didn't go see it. There was a theater preview for certain people who signed up to the Cinemark and other kinds of movie theaters. So you could go see the first 2 episodes of it. I did not, but man, if I wanted my channel to expand, I probably should have told my kids to just fend for themselves. Anyway, yeah, some people agree with Corpus Christi is amazing. Was Corpus Christi, that's the fake priest movie I was recommending, was that nominated? What was that nominated for? I am surprised. Was that a foreign film or international film? I would guess so, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Recommendations for HBO Max. That is pretty good, too. HBO Max. Again, I'm not paid by anybody, but that does well. Of course, you would get the HBO TV series. There are many good TV series there, too. By the way, speaking of TV series, I've been watching Better Call Saul with my wife It's not the greatest late night fare because you're dealing with drug lords and other sorts of sad, disturbing thoughts right before you go to bed. But Better Call Saul, I have two things to say about it. It's as you know, the sequel, but really the prequel to Breaking Bad, the very acclaimed TV show Breaking Bad. I think Better Call Saul might be the best filmed TV series I've ever seen. Just the surprise in the shots they make and the scenes. Scene after scene, it goes to places you never thought. But it's filmography, cinematography stuff. Story-wise, I like we're in the middle of the last seasons. I'm watching. I know it was all released prior. I still have no idea what this thing is about. I can only think of it's about very simple moral truths, like don't do bad things or don't get in league with bad people. Or there's a line that they have called wolves and sheep, and I wonder if the series is saying some people are wolves and most people are sheep. Obvious truism if you want to be cynical. I'm not sure what this TV show is about. It was a little frustrating to me, but yeah, it's so well shot. There's so many great ideas for shot making in Better Call Saul. So I'm kind of recommending it if you like great shots, great scenes, shot making and scenes. It's always been very good. Comments about okay. Now I'm back to the comments. First Blood is first. Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by First Blood. Rambo. I think the premise is interesting. Vietnam War veteran comes back as a drifter. The law sheriff doesn't accept him in town, and that triggers him. I thought that was a meaningful sort of action post-Vietnam movie. It was better than normal action fare. And then the Rambo movies kind of descend into shooting. Right. Yeah. So, now we're into playing the game. You would save The Witches of Eastwick, huh? Rufus Studios, but someone else here would say American Beauty, Schindler's List, First Contact. So that random 90s thing I did, yeah. That I don't know how to explain. Yeah. Lots of different ideas. So here's a comment. Francine says, I was happy to finally see Last Year at Marienbad. For the longest time, it was hard to find. Yeah, and I bought a Blu-ray version. It might be a European Blu-ray version. This is why I recommend for everybody getting a region-free, if you're still with physical media, using discs, buy a region-free player. Region-free Blu-ray, region-free 4K, if that applies. I'm not sure that applies to 4K, but for Blu-rays, it's always ridiculously frustrating when you have a Region 2 disc in the United States and your player only gets Region 1. So you really should buy Region Free. And I bought, I think, a European version. There's lots of good Euro discs, if I can call them that, manufactured for various European populations, French, German, English, and so on. And in fact, a Jim Jarmusch collection. The only physical media Jim Jarmusch collection is from Germany. Right? You can't get one from the United States. No one makes an English-speaking version, although the movies are in English. So I was considering getting that, but there's reasons to have region-free players. Anyway, people are commenting and saying what they would save. So there's a lot of variety. Oh, Argentina, UK, this is great. Thailand. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate all the comments here. I have not finished Better Call Saul, by the way, so don't spoil it. I'm only halfway through the last season. Okay, let's do this and then be close to done. I shouldn't pronounce Indian names because I'm not great at it, but I love Indian food. Sanida Singh, sorry if I mispronounced your, says you like The Haunting, which Martin Scorsese ranked as the favorite horror movie. Now, I don't think I've seen that. I can't recall offhand because the title is not tipping me off. So let's take a look at that real quick. I'm going to pull it up on Letterboxd, The Haunting. I want to know, because this is what I like about the live streams that I get recommendations. Is The Haunting the one from 1963? There's multiple hauntings, or from 1999. 1963 or 1999? The Haunting. Is this? Oh, it's probably the Robert Wise movie from 1963. It's about ghosts at Hill House. Oh, I will take a look at this for sure. In fact, oh, I have to rent it on Amazon or somewhere else. Okay, I'll find a Blu-ray copy of it, or maybe, yeah, maybe a disc. Okay, I will watch that. Thank you so much for that, and I'm sure the 1999 Haunting with Liam Neeson is. Oh my God. Wait a minute. This is good to end on. So here's one Haunting. Right. I like about Letterboxd, you can maybe see this. I have friends, right? People I followed. I don't know them personally, almost none of them, but I like, that you can go down here and you can just see what they're, not just what they've rated, but click on this and see what they've said about it, which is kind of nice to curate and narrow down the reviews that you're going to look at by ordinary people or anons on the internet. So, but what I was laughing at is The Haunting. I don't remember this movie, although I was 20-something. I mean, I should know about it. It has Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Owen Wilson, Bruce Dern, Virginia Madsen. I mean, the list goes on here. MC Gainey. Look at that. That is horrific. 2.2 out of 5. I am very intrigued. This movie has to be absolutely terrible to get 2.2 out of 5 is horrific on Letterboxd. That's one of the worst movies. And this must be a mainstream movie. What a trash heap. Okay. Anyway, that's very funny to me. Anyway, well, I'm going to leave this on the screen. So I just absolutely love bad movies occasionally. I haven't seen too many recently, but you put on a movie you know is bad, everyone says is bad, it probably will be bad. What are the reasons why it's bad? That's the kind of question I like to ask. What makes this bad? Which helps me understand a little bit my own standards, what's good versus bad, or my own judgments about things. But it's really fun to make fun of a terrible movie. So this might be the one. I have not seen it. Where's my finger at? I can't point. But this might be the one I might sit down with a few friends and just mock. Who wouldn't love a terrible Liam Neeson movie? If you want to waste some time and have some fun, this could be it. I don't know. If any of you've seen it, let us know in the comments. Anyway, thanks for the streaming. I'm glad the camera worked out. Looks like the battery lasted. I'll probably keep doing it on this camera because it's way better. And if you have recommendations, leave them in the comments. Feel free to support the channel. I'd appreciate it. Sign up for Letterboxd, my newsletter. See you all later. Really, let's wave. Where's the camera at? See you all later. Really appreciate everything. Take care. Thanks for watching.